Let's say you are grinding or popping in a new C with your old fruit that is really bad. So you watched a video about better fruits but you just happen not to have them. So, if you want to know all methods for you to obtain new expensive fruits, this is the video you want to watch. Later on I will show you a secret method that not many players know about, so keep watching. Today's shoutouts go to these guys. If you want a shoutout in the next video, just like the video and tell me in the comments the most expensive fruit that you have in your inventory. Just as always, before we get to the exact obtainment methods, we first need to establish what fruits do we need and why. So, the reason why we need these fruits is very clear. You reached a new area or such thing and you need a better fruit, or you just want to fulfill your inventory. No matter the reason, you probably won't need fruits like Rocket or Chop. You will most likely need some legendary or even mythic fruits. So, we will need some good obtainment ways that have high chance of giving expensive fruits. So let's get into just that. The first and the most known method of getting fruits is the Blox Fruits dealer cousin, or the Blox Fruits Gacha, and he is there throughout all 3 Cs from the beginning of the game. You can find him as early as in the Jungle Island in the first C, also behind the Kingdom of Rose Cafe in the second C, and the Floating Turtle Mansion in the third C. So, just like with any other method, it has its own pros and cons. Let's start with the pros. Pros of this method is that it's probably the method that will get you the most amounts of different fruits. You never know what fruit you are going to get, so it may be a bad one like Chop or a super insane one like Kitsune or such. It relies mostly on luck, but of course you are going to get more bad ones than good ones. But of course you cannot do it forever. It has a limit. The limit is that you can only roll one fruit every 2 hours, so you can't spam it. And it makes complete sense. If there wasn't this limit, players would just keep rolling until everyone has every fruit, which is really boring and not the point. Also, depending on your level, you have to pay a certain amount of money in order for you to roll a fruit. So it can be anywhere from 10k to over 250k pelly. So if you don't have much money, that can be also a liming factor. So the Blox Fruits Gacha is a really good method, but of course there are better ones. Now this method is the main method of getting a fruit in this game. But the problem with this method is that you won't get the fruit in physical form. You can only buy a fruit and it will automatically eat it for you, so you can't put it in your inventory, which is a deal breaker for most people. But if you are just wanting a certain fruit that you want to use immediately after getting, then this is the GOAT method. The stock is found in all 3 Cs, obviously, so if you get the required money, you literally don't even have to play the game if you want to get your favorite fruit. How so? Well, the stock changes every 4 hours, and each time it changes you always have a chance to find your fruit. So you just have to keep your eye on it, and you can do that even without entering the game. Just go to the Blox Fruits wiki or YouTube. There are certain channels that stream the fruit stock, so you can save yourself a ton of time. But also, getting a mythical or any really expensive fruit can be a bit time consuming. That's because it is really low chance of appearing in stock, but getting any fruit shouldn't take any longer than a few days. So yeah. This is the rich way of obtaining fruits. The Fruit Notifier Game Pass costs 2.7k Robux, and it basically lets you know where a Blox Fruit spawned. Fruits like this spawn every hour, so that means every hour you'll get a new fruit. But if someone accidentally finds it or somebody else has the Game Pass, they can pick it up as well if you are slow. So, if you want to farm fruits fast and efficiently by doing this method, it would be best to buy yourself a private server. I mean, let's be real. If you have enough Robux to buy yourself a Game Pass that costs 2.7k Robux, you also have additional 200 to buy a private server. So that's that. But here's where most players make a mistake. They try and hunt these fruits without a Game Pass, so they are just lurking around the sea hoping that they will find a random fruit on the ground, which makes no sense. Firstly, because doing this may actually be for nothing, but QAs you probably won't find anything. There are probably some players that have the Game Pass in the server, so they are most likely to find that fruit way before you. So if you are doing this, I recommend you to stop it and rely on some different methods that I will show you. Trading is a skill that most players want to master, but it's just too hard. How? Well, you have to be insanely patient, because it's really hard to find somebody that wants to do a trade where you actually gain some value. But don't worry, I got you. If you want to know the step-by-step guide on how to get insanely good at trading and actually get something really valuable out of it, check out this video. So you just have to practice and get to know real fruit values. For example, when a new fruit comes out, even though it may be the most expensive, it's going to be definitely the most valuable because all players want it. And you just take advantage of it. So don't let the trading method slide. This method is only for those second C players. or the third sea, but you just have to go back to the second sea. At the Kingdom of Rose Island there is this factory building, and every 1.5 hours this factory opens and the factory raid begins. You just have to spam skills at this factory core and deal the most amount of damage you can. So, if you deal the highest damage out of all players that damage the core, you will be rewarded a random fruit. So this is a really good method, but it can't be one that you're focused on the most. That's because you get a fruit only every hour and a half, and even that is not completely 100%. But don't get me wrong, I definitely recommend you this method of getting fruits, but I am just saying that you should find another good method to do alongside with this one. So don't ignore this method because you can actually get some really good fruits. Not many players know about this one. There are these so-called raids at the castle on the sea island where enemies spawn and you have to fight them. The more enemies you defeat, the more fragments you will get, but if you kill the last remaining enemy you will be rewarded a random fruit. So, these raids happen every 75 minutes, 1 hour and 15 minutes, so don't miss out on them. When you sail your boat around the sea you probably have encountered 3 ships that attack you. These are called ship raids. Normally they give you fragments, but there is a really small chance for you to get a random Blox Fruit, so when you do encounter these ship raids make sure to defeat them. Now this is the secret method that I have talked to you about. I mean, it's not secret at all, but most players forget it. And that is participating in events. What do I mean by that? Well, the events that I am talking about are all these Valentine's, Christmas or any similar type of events. During them you have these speckle items that you can trade for a fruit or something else. And these trades can be really valuable to you because you can get so much for so little. So it's undoubtedly one of the best methods. But the problem with that is that they are not active most of the time. But when they are, make sure to take advantage of them. So guys, if you found this video helpful, make sure you leave a like and a sub to let me know that I should make more useful videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching and see you soon.